What is going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good day so far. So this video is a Q&A video. I know I've gotten a couple requests to make this video, so I thought I would go ahead and do that for you. I'm going to be pulling comments off of probably the last 5 or the most recent videos that I've made, and then from here on out, I'll probably do a Q&A video every few videos just to answer some of those comments that are a little lengthy or require a little bit more information than I want to type out on my phone. But yeah, let's just get started. This comment comes from Alex Brooking. How do people test their personal run? So if you live in a recreational state or city, there should be testing facilities out there that you can take your own personal stuff in and get it tested. Where there's probably like 3 or 4 in my city that I can take mine to. Take them 4 grams, and then the place that I went to charged $100 for the THC content, the moisture content, and the terpene profile. All right, this next one comes from Bravo Ruiz. Sorry, my pronunciation is pretty bad. What kind of hydroponic system are you using? If you're talking about like a bucket system or like DWC or that kind of thing, I'm just using Rockwell cubes with a drip feeder, and it is drained to waste. So as soon as it runs through those Rockwell cubes, that waste will run off into a reservoir, and then I empty that reservoir into the sink. So it's not a recirculating or anything like that. It is a drain to waste system. This one is Glenn G. How did the Think LED price compare to the Gavita? The ThinkGrow LED I got on sale. It is MSRP on that is $1,350. The MSRP on the Gavita is $1,300. I got it both of them at a discount. I got the ThinkGrow LED for $1,190 and the Gavita for about $1,250. I got the Gavita right when it came out, and it was $1,300, but the hydroponic store that I go to, they gave me a pretty good discount on it, so I got it for $1,250. The ThinkGrow LED, he was doing like a COVID-19 crisis discount, so I picked that up with that. And if you keep an eye out, most of the time that ThinkGrow will go on sale. And the Gavita, just go down to your hydroponic store to ask them what the price is on that, because everywhere is a little bit different. I can't tell you which one I like better yet, just because the ThinkGrow LED just got put in and is going through its first run right now. All right, next we have Jonathan Bermudez. Where'd you buy the board? Where did you buy the board you mounted the fan and controllers from? So I use Gorilla Grow Tent, and those are Gorilla Grow boards. So if you just go to gorillagrow.com or your hydroponic store and tell them you want this, I'm sure that they can order it for you. There's a few different sizes, and I don't know which one that I got. I got mine from the hydroponic store, and it didn't say anywhere on it. I know there's like a 19 and a 26 or something like that size. Don't know what that means, but I think it's the width of it. We have 2 from Jordan Williams. Have you ever heard of or looked into the bucket company? I've looked into doing a bucket system, but when I decided to upgrade my system downstairs from using soil to the Rockwell cubes, I went with the Rockwell cubes. Maybe later in the future, I might try out a bucket system, but that probably won't be for a very long time, because I just spent all my money on the upgrades in the garage to do Rockwell. And do you own a par meter? Which one? I do own a par meter. It is the Apogee MQ500. It was about $600, but I thought that was a good investment, just so I know exactly where my light uniformity and where to hang my lights, because I'm using CO2. I can really mess with that high PPFD if I'm supplementing with enough CO2. Christina Jones, can you not turn the Gavita down without paying for the controller? So when I replied to this comment, there is no dial, there is no dimming feature on the Gavita LED um, that comes with it. You have to buy their master controller, which is like $300, and then you have to buy the adapter for the Gavita light that plugs into the LED, and then that plugs into the master controller. So all in all, you could spend upwards of $450 to just be able to dim your Gavita LED down. And I don't, for somebody like me that's using one light, I feel like that investment is pointless. But I did find a workaround for that. The speedster, the volt controller for like fans and stuff like that, I plugged that in and plugged that into the volt controller, and then I was able to dim the light down with that volt controller. um I do that during veg, so they're not absolutely burning the plants when I put them in, and it seemed to really help the shock of being under that intense of a light. All right, this one comes from Mellow. Can you do a video on how your setup works and nutrients and all? Kind of how to get started. I'm going to attempt my first grow soon in a couple of months, and I like your setup. I can do that video for you. I've actually been planning on doing a complete garden setup video, just to kind of show you guys everything that's in my entire grow. If you would like, everything that I use is in the description below, with links to where you can get it from. But yeah, I was planning on making that video anyways. But my recommendation on how to get started, I wouldn't go all out with a bunch of stuff like I have. If this is your first time growing, I would start with soil, start with something easy, do a couple runs in it, and see how you like it. I know too many people that say that they're gonna attempt to grow, they want to grow, and then I ask them about it like 4 or 5 months later. I'm like, oh hey, how are your plants doing? They're like, and their response is always, oh man, they died, or it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And they never really move past their one or two harvests, because a lot of people think that growing is a lot easier than uh, it is. It takes up a lot of your time, and they're very, you need to be very attentive to them. So that would be my recommendation. Don't go all out um, to start growing. Just find a place, get a light, put some plants under it, with some soil, and get some cheaper nutrients like Fox Farms or Botanicare or something like that, just so you get an idea of what it's going to take to get through a few harvests, if that makes sense. That would be my recommendation. But yeah, I will be making that video on everything in my garden. NorCal Reppin, how did your 630 watt room do? If you're talking about the CMH room, it did not do very well. So we actually had to scrap our very first run. Our water that we were using turned out to have a lot of toxicity issues. I found out that the cistern that we were pulling the water from had been in there for about 5+ years. Where we're growing, it's been abandoned for 5 years. It's on some property, and so I tested the water, and it came back with a boron toxicity, etc., etc. And so there was no bouncing back from that. So I made the decision to completely scrap it rather than put all of my time and effort into a grow that's not going to produce anything. And so we're transplanting new clones in there tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a whole row of Sunday Punch, and then a mixture of a couple other strains. Yeah, it was unfortunate, super disappointing that we weren't able to get that room dialed in But you know, we're going to be hauling water from my house out there, and things will get a lot better. All right, and NTM cultivation. No more outdoor grows. Not this year. I'm still planning on doing outdoor grows, but with my indoor, with how much time it's taking in there, and then the new indoor facility, I can't put all of my attention into an outdoor grow along with that. So 3 grows, 3 spots, it'd just be a lot of work and a job. So I decided to hold off on doing any more outdoor probably for the next year or two until I get both of these rooms super dialed in, and then probably move back outside. And if I do go outside again, I won't be growing unless I have a greenhouse. Here in Central Oregon, the temperature is so temperamental towards the end in September and October that last year all the hemp farmers, all the growers, they lost so much of their crop because of early frost, um, early cold weather. I mean, there was I think September, middle of September, it froze for like a week straight, and then it got nice again. And so many places didn't recover from that week and a half of freezing weather, um, unless they had a greenhouse. And so all that time and effort popping your seeds in January, you know, getting them to where you want them to go, to only at the end lose everything. It's pretty tough to grow in Central Oregon, unless you are doing smaller plants where you can bring them in and outside, or you have a place indoor where you can bring them if it gets cold, or if you have a greenhouse where you can shut it off from that frost and the cold weather. RB26. I take it you're a Nissan guy. Uh, I'm an Acura guy. I got an Acura RSX Type S, so I'm into cars too. Um, this is one of the guys that asked for a Q&A. Tell us about your setup and the cost of it. Tell us about your feeding schedule. How often do you change your reservoirs? Is this growing method better than soil? Enlighten the noobs. Thank you. So first one, tell us about your setup and the cost of it. It's a drained away system, like I said before. I'm using Botanicare trays, fast fit stands. I have recycle timers. I have Blue Labs pH test or pH controllers, um, LED lights, which are more expensive than your CMHs or your double endeds, but less AC. I mean, I'm running all LED in my garage, and I don't have to have an AC unit in there making it cooler. It does get a little hot during the summer because it is in my garage, but um, I know if I had those other HPS bulbs or CMHs, I would have to have an AC unit in there, a mini split or something like that. The cost of the entire setup, not including like the nutrients and everything that you have to buy just on a regular basis every month or so. Each one of my tents, I would say, is going to cost about $2,500. The Spectrum King LEDs, the 600, the Plus was $1,300. The 420s when I bought them were $1,000. The Gavita 1300, the ThinkGrow LED 1190, and I mean it just kind of adds up. The 5x5 tent is about $400 a piece. The 5x9 was $600. The Botanicare trays and stands, the wheels, those are about $1,000 for all of them. Actually, probably less, probably like $700 for all of it. The Blue Labs pHer, those are quite a bit of money each. It's a lot of money to invest in this, but I figured since I enjoy it so much that it's an investment that I am willing to make. Everything, I would say it costs around $8,000 to $9,000 to get where I'm at right now. But that was over a 4-year period. It wasn't like I went out and bought everything at once. My feeding schedule for the Rockwell cubes, I have a recycle timer. It comes on every hour for 5 seconds. The first feed is 30 minutes after the lights turn on, and it shuts off 3 hours before the lights go off. So there's what 8 to 9 feedings a day at 5 seconds. The recycle timer is plugged into a just like a normal timer, a digital timer, to come on an hour or 30 minutes after the lights come on and shut off. Before that, just because there's a photo cell on the recycle timer, so as soon as the lights popped on, it would start feeding, and then when the lights shut off, it would stop feeding. I wanted to give it a break for a little bit. How often do you change your reservoir? I change it every week, once a week. I don't add any water to the reservoir during the week. I know that with my feeding schedule, it will go about 30 gallons per week. So it'll feed 30 gallons a week. Is this growing method better than soil? I like it a lot better than soil. Transplanting's a lot easier. It's less messy. It requires a lot more cleaning than just throwing out the dirt, washing the pots. You got to wash the trays, the hydroton, and everything, and then getting everything set up after you harvest. That takes some time too. But the quality of bud in Rockwool is double what I got in soil, using the same nutrients, same different feeding schedule, but same nutrients, and everything. Same strain, the Sunday Punch, I grew in soil and in the Rockwool cubes, and the Rockwool cubes blow it away. All right, guys, that was it for my first Q&A. It was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but if I keep up with your guys' questions and Q&A videos, I'll be able to make the videos a little bit shorter. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. See ya.